welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachael
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachael and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that? Hey! Hello and welcome to our podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, Neal and I are going to discuss some drone stories. Talk about some of our fun stories and horror stories. We've all been there, right, Neal?
Oh, mostly trauma, I'd say.
How many drones have you owned? Like what number of drone are you on?
No, I haven't. Well, no, that's wrong. 3.
In a year and a half. Or how long have you been flying? I guess I should ask that. How long have you been flying?
Yeah, I've been flying a little longer than that. I can't remember. So I just had to renew my pilot license. So they're 2 years, right?
Yep.
So yeah. I don't know. Yeah, for a while I've been flying 2.5 years, maybe.
Ooh, experienced pilot. All right.
I don't know, but yeah, there are. There's no shortage of horror stories when you're flying your drone a lot, right?
Yes, there are so many close calls. Yeah, I've been flying. It'll be 6 years. I'm going on 6 years. So,
how many drones have you gone through?
4.
Oh.
That's not bad.
Well, I'm not gone
Knock on
through.
wood.
I still have 2. So really just one is gone and was replaced. Using that DJI Care Refresh
Nice.
thing. So that one got replaced. The other, they've crashed more than that.
And survived? They've
yeah.
survived the crash?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
so impressive. All of
Yeah.
mine, when they crash, they're done. I'm like,
Oh.
I'm not even going to try to fix this thing. I'm going to Best Buy.
You know what I like about the Mavic Air 2 that I have, which is now kind of my main one, is that thing is nimble and it can recover pretty well. I've hit branches where it literally has flipped and fallen and caught itself.
Wow.
And flew again. And I'm like, what? And it's done that a couple times.
Wow. Okay, so I started with the Phantom 4 and crashed that one off of a rooftop deck. That was awful. So I'll tell this story because it was very traumatizing. Okay, so I'm new to real estate photography. I'm like probably 6 months in, maybe 9 months. Started working for a new client. They were like top producers in Seattle, whatever. And they asked me to do a drone shoot at sunrise off of a rooftop deck in Seattle. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Well, it's like December, it's freezing. So it was 21 degrees. I met the owner of the company and then a couple of the brokers were there as well. And we walk up the stairs, it's like 5 flights of stairs to get to this rooftop deck, right? And I take off and I fly out and then it says image transmission lost. I'm like, oh no. Oh. And I'm new. Like, why is it doing this? What is going on?
Yeah.
And it's freezing, absolutely freezing. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's too cold for the drone. Like, it's gone low. I'm not that far out, like maybe 500 feet. Like it shouldn't have lost transmission. But sometimes in a big city, there's so much Wi-Fi, signal or whatever. And it can make it less range or whatever, less reliable, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
So fly out and then it loses transmission and then I get it to come back. I hit return to home, right?
Yeah.
Which I never usually do that. I hit the return to home button and here it comes flying back and it's like 20 feet over our heads and it says it comes down to land and it's right next to a stairwell. Like there's a stairwell that you have to walk up to get onto the rooftop deck and then the door opens, so there's like a, 8-foot tall wall right on the roof. Well, where it was going to land was right by that wall and it said unable to land and I'm like, okay, so it's just hovering at like 10 feet and I'm like trying to move the sticks and nothing's working. So I pulled down on both the sticks and all of a sudden it engages and it just flew right into the side of that like stairwell.
Oh no.
and the battery popped out and it fell onto the ground and everyone there's laughing. I'm like, this is not funny. Like, oh my gosh. Like, one, I'm glad I didn't kill someone. And two, my drone. I'm like, that's like $1,600. Are you kidding me? And they were, they thought it was the funniest thing ever. Like, it made their day. And I was mortified.
Well, I'm glad at least that made them laugh, right? But you're like, what? You know what that thing cost?
Yeah, I'm like, shut. This drone shoot is not going to cover the cost of that drone.
I totally know exactly what you mean. Like that whole thing where like everything just goes.
Yeah.
I smacked my microphone. Sorry about that. I'm very handsy when I talk.
Yeah. Very animated.
Yes.
Very animated.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, and that was the first time you worked with them, or?
No, it was one of the first times that I'd done a drone shoot for them because they had hired me just to do Matterport. So, but they tease me all the time about it. Like it came up for, years after that. Remember that time you crashed the drone? I'm like, oh, I remember. Yes. So does my checkbook. Thank you very much.
That's a good one. Oh my gosh. So all right, here's my drone story. This is a good one. So middle of summer, so it's really hot. So I'm like t-shirt and shorts. That's what I wear. I wear like Vans, no socks, t-shirt, shorts. Usually, well, not a t-shirt actually. I usually wear a polo shirt. But anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. So I show up to this thing, and it's in a restricted area, right? But I've got approval before to fly in the restricted area because right where I live, there's an airport right in the vicinity, so there's lots of restricted areas. So I got to get approval all the time. So I've got it, but as you know, like DJI and the FAA, they're not really doing the best job of talking to each other, right?
What?
So the FAA said it's fine, but my drone had other thoughts, right? So first of all, I get there, I'm trying to take it off, and it gets up in the like, once it's off the ground, inevitably it pops up, restricted area. You've got to like sign away your life, and it's in the middle of the bright sun, and you can't barely see your screen. You're trying to hit these little check boxes like sign your life away, right? Like, yes, my firstborn child, if I take off now, and my whatever, right? And so I check all those things, and I'm like, I haven't done a lot of those at this point, And so I'm like, I hope what I'm doing is kosher, but I know I have the approval, so whatever. So it lets me take off, right? So I get it up, and this is right across from a busy road, this property. It's I'm taking photos of a house, but really it's pointless because they're going to tear down this house. It's just falling apart, but really they want the land, right? So I have to fly across the street a bit and above the power lines and above these really tall trees there just to get the angle I need so you can see all the property, right? Now, that side of the road is nothing but trees, field for a while, a bunch of areas of like trees and brush, and then goes all the way back to this big river. So there's all kinds of like, who knows what's in the woods over there and in the fields and all that kind of stuff. There's no population, no people or anything like that. So as soon as it gets up over these trees, all of a sudden it decides to tell me that you're in a restricted area and it's going to land. And there's nothing I can do. And it decides to just start coming down behind those trees where I can't see what's going on in the field, forcing me to do, rule number 1, which is never fly your drone where you can't see it, right? Out of line of sight, right? I'm like, this is super, gang.
This is why.
Yeah, this is
why they say that.
This is working out for safety and everybody involved. So anyway, all I can do is aim the camera down and try to, I can't remember now exactly, but I think I could sort of avoid some stuff, but I couldn't fly it up over the tree and back to me. So I think it was going down and I could kind of move left or right a little bit. And I'm seeing like a pond and I'm seeing branches and I'm like, oh, yeah. What?
Let me interrupt. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So when you're flying your drone and it tells you to return home, you don't have control over moving the drone up and down? You just have control of going left to right. Is that correct?
I don't know, but it wasn't letting me.
I've had the same thing happen and I can't go up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going down. You don't have a choice. It's like automatically, but you can move it left to right to maneuver around things, but it's like, whoa, this is out of control.
Yeah, and it's not return to home, like, because it can do a return to home and be too low and smack into a tree if it doesn't sense it. So I've set my return to home to fly really high and up and over and then back down, but it wasn't doing that. Like, it wasn't like, okay, we're going to return to home. It just decided we're going to land right now. We don't care where you are.
Jeez.
Right?
How far out were you, do you think?
I wasn't super far out, but it was problem was those big tall trees right off of the high. It wasn't a freeway, but a busy road. And so anyway, so I'm trying to get out there to see where it's going because I obviously don't want to land in like I saw some water somewhere, I saw some branches, and I'm just trying to avoid stuff as it's coming down. So I go to cross the road, and of course, as I go to cross the road, right where the brush is to get into like the higher brushy area, it's all straight up poison ivy, and I've got my Vans, no socks.
Oh no! I mean? Oh gosh!
So I got no choice to like try and leap over like all poison ivy.
I wish you had a video of that.
Oh yeah, all poison ivy. The thing has finally come down to a point where it just hovered and it couldn't land because there was like stuff there, and the sensors picked that up at least, and it stopped. So I'm just like, all right, I got to find where this thing is. It's hovering back there somewhere, right? So I'm kind of going through this brushy area, I'm weeding through all this stuff. And what you don't think about that people should probably consider is the drone is actually a perfect herding mechanism. You know, if you got a drone and you're one side of the field and the drone's the other, and you fly the drone towards you and you walk towards the drone, you know, that's a great way to herd whatever's between you and it together. So I'm walking towards this drone, and of course that's a terrifying sound for any kind of animal, and anything could be out there, bear, I don't know, whatever, things I don't want to come in contact with, an angry bobcat, I don't know. But I'm walking towards the drone, and this is when the thought occurs to me when I hear a big rustling in the bushes right ahead of me, between me and the drone, right? And I'm like, oh no. And I'm out, you know, I'm out in the thick of it right now. So like whatever's in this brush, if it wants to attack me right now, what am I going to do? Nothing. I'm just going to be the idiot who died trying to get his drone. This is what's going on in my head.
Oh my God.
Right? This is one thing. You know,
Neal dies.
You hear a rustle in the brush, right? It's like, what is that? And rustles in brush always sound like gigantic. Like I thought it was a dinosaur.
It's probably a bird. Was it a bird or a squirrel?
Oh, a squirrel. I like, that's a good guess.
Finish
So anyway, so the idea, so basically the drone's terrifying this thing, and I think it just decides the drone is scarier than me. So out from the brush comes running a huge turkey. This one was a monster though. I was like, whoa. And at first, you know, you just see this big thing moving. You have no idea what it is. And I'm like, ah! Turkey.
Did you run?
No, I think I was more paralyzed, just standing there like an imbecile. But yeah, I was like, and it's a turkey.
Yes, the fight or flight. I definitely would flight. I would run as fast as I could, screaming.
Yeah, screaming. I'm sure that was in my next move there. If it wasn't a turkey, that would have happened for sure.
Yeah. Did you push record on your video camera on your drone to record this?
I did leave it recording, but it wasn't. I wasn't close enough that I could see it. It was low kind of, and there was a bunch of brush. There wasn't really much to see. I did look at the footage after to be like, oh, that would be awesome. But, you know.
Yeah.
No.
Have you had any close encounters with your drone and wildlife? Like hitting birds or getting close to
hitting birds,
like flying objects.
I have had hawks and stuff fly right in front of the camera, like checking it out. I did get a cool shot of a pretty close hawk right in front of it. That was kind of cool, but I don't think I've ever had an actual encounter where they like attacked it or anything like that. Why does that happen to you?
Yeah, I was flying in Seattle, and there was these two big monkey trees in front of the units. And there was like a family of crows, I think, that lived in this tree. They were very territorial. Like they were pissed. So I was trying to get like the 50-foot up shot, you know, showing like all four corners of the lot, whatever, at 50 or 100 feet. And they were dive bombing my drone. I mean, they were swirling, like there was 4 of them. And they were just like, whoop, twirling around the drone, like dive bombing, going up and down. I was like, oh no, landing. And I'm like, don't hit the birds. You're going to kill them.
Yeah, I was going to say like that wouldn't be a good day for them. It's like a blender.
Yeah. So that was my worst encounter. I ended up getting it down. It was fine, but it was creepy.
They didn't make contact with it though?
No, thank goodness. But they came close, like scary close. It's like, whoa. Yeah. I've seen some drone footage on like the Facebook groups and stuff of people like having birds that get really close to them and they like pretty much interfere with their flight path or whatever. It's scary.
Yeah, totally. In my head, when you first said that, I'm like, did she have like a moose charge? What?
No, but I do like herding horses. I shoot a lot of equestrian properties.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you take the drone off and you go over the field and you want to get some good video footage. So you just kind of fly up behind them and it just makes them run, man. They get so
and so you get like a cool shot of them running, picking up the dust.
Yes.
Oh,
so you get that awesome shot of them running through the field. Yeah.
Oh,
I always warn the owners though. I'm like, hey, my drone is probably going to spook your horse. Is that okay? Because some horses have like heart issues or something. So you always want to ask before you do it. But
that would not be a good day.
The horse dropped dead.
I got some really good footage. One minor catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember your horse.
Sorry. Can I buy you a new one?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So don't go terrorizing horses, people.
No.
But that's cool. Yeah, I'm sure you get some cool shots like that. I did shoot at a horse thing one time, but we had riders on the horse and it was pretty cool. We got shots of them like above as they kind of took off and stuff. And that was pretty fun. I would love to do footage of like wild horses running. How cool would that be? Oh my God.
No kidding. It'd be awesome. It'd be like, what's that show? This is planet Earth.
Oh,
look at the wild buffalo running in the fields.
If only I would like to now do a real estate listing video where you do the narration and we somehow work into water bison running water buffalo.
I might have a new career up my sleeve here. Voiceover by Rachael.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
That would be the most. I think honestly, if you did something ridiculous like that, it would probably get a ton of views if you just got like totally ridiculous. Oh my God.
Oh, I have a real idea.
You could totally work in B-roll, right? Just get the stock footage and just make something ridiculous over the top just because they have like a cool property with a lot of land. Mm-hmm. That would be kind of funny, actually.
I think you just got a really good reel idea.
Now I want to do it.
No, you're gonna do it. And I'll mock it. You do it and I'll mock it. We'll do that split screen thing again.
I like it. Yeah. Okay. I know. I'm waiting for you to, as soon as I did that split screen, I did a split screen of one of Rachel's things. What do they call it on Instagram and TikTok? They call them two different things, but anyway, and now I'm waiting for you to like come back at me. I'm like, what's you gonna make fun of? Oh no.
Well, if I can find my ferret who's hiding somewhere in my house, I can do the split screen of the next one.
Yes. No.
But I looked everywhere for her. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I got my ring light. I got my phone in there. And I was like, shoot, where's the ferret? She sleeps like 16 hours a day and they like to be in like pitch black. So she'll hide under my covers, in my drawers, like under my kids' stuffed animals. They're all over the house.
So the ferret just runs around rampant all day.
She's a free roam ferret. She has a cage. It's like 5 feet tall in my living room. It's 3-4 stories. And she has hammocks in there and like she's spoiled.
Really?
Yeah. And then I have potty pads all over my house.
I was going to say, are they
sometimes goes on the potty
trained?
pads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's got her certain spots as she goes. So I have pads in those places and I just change them every day. It's annoying, but yeah, she's adorable.
Interesting.
So. She's annoying though. She wakes me up at 4:30 every day. So I have to put her in her cage at night. I'm like, alarm doesn't go off till 5, ferret. You can't wake me up at 4:30. That's mean.
Yeah, no, that's ugh. You get up at 5. Ugh, yuck.
Yes, sometimes 5. Well, usually 5:30 lately.
Wow.
Anywho.
So are you worried about finding your ferret or is this normal?
No, I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's like you just find her when she comes out. It's like a cat. Like you can't make a cat come to you. It's like when they want to come, they'll come, right? Kind of how the ferret is.
I once had a turtle that escaped.
Oh.
Yeah, you wouldn't think the turtle would get away.
They're pretty fast.
My dad always joked that he's like, was there like toilet paper going up and over the cage and out the, like an escape, tying the sheets together, but it's toilet paper.
That's cute.
But yeah, literally I had a turtle for several years. And then one day, no idea what happened to my turtle. Yeah.
Where'd you didn't ever find him?
Never found him.
What? Did he get outside? He must have gone outside.
He's the only turtle to ever have escaped. He probably tells a very great story to all his buddies out in the woods. That's what I like to think.
Yes. He's hanging out with all of his friends in the woods.
Years from now, I'll find out my dad's like, sorry, your turtle died and we just didn't want to tell you. But
that's exactly what happened.
We told you escaped.
It's like the hamsters. My kids are like, what happened the other day? I had 2 hamsters. It was terrible. One got stuck to a sticky trap. I saved it, cleaned it off with peanut butter. Like The poor thing lived for 1 month, and we found it dead in its cage. Sad. The other one, I fed it at night and left the cage open when the kids were at their dad's house, and it got out, and I never found it. So I'm pretty sure I told the kids that one, I found it dead in its cage because I didn't want them to be all looking for it forever, and not be able to find it. Because we looked everywhere. And then, because they weren't with me for like 5 days, so I'm like, I still can't find it. Anyways, the house stunk really bad, like a month later.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then we had a fly infestation. It was absolutely disgusting. We had probably 75 flies in my kitchen, in my bathroom. And I still don't know where it is. I've looked everywhere. So anyways, this is a gross story.
You never found it?
No, never found it. Still, we
my
demoed the
gosh.
basement, and there was like my son's room was down there, and there was an elevated floor. So I thought for sure we'd find it under the floorboards or like somewhere in the walls. We did find a mouse in the walls that was like mummified, but it wasn't a hamster, it was a mouse. So anyways, still don't know where that pineapple is, but its name was Pineapple. My daughter asked the other day, she goes, yeah, and Pineapple was dead in her cage. And I was like, no, we just never found her. And she goes, wait, what? And I was like,
Hang on.
Shit, I forgot my story.
Oh no.
Sorry, honey. Sorry,
Oh,
honey.
that's
Okay.
horrible.
All right, we're totally off track once again.
What? We are?
Okay, now you know my horrible hamster story. I'm not allowed to get hamsters, so instead of getting another hamster, I got a ferret, which seems like the responsible thing to do, right?
You would think talking about drone stories, how would we end up talking about dead hamsters? But we can do it. We've accomplished it.
Yes. So Neal, tell me, you said you crashed a drone. I want to hear your crash story.
Oh no, this is a good one. The crash is fairly uneventful. Well, here, it's very simple. So I'm at a shoot. They want me to do drone of this commercial property. It's renting a unit out. And so I didn't have that wasn't my plan for the day. So I had my backup drone was in the car. And so I took it out and the battery was fine. I'm like, oh, good. Battery's fine. I'll just use this drone. I really wasn't planning on flying the drone, right? So my backup drone is actually my more expensive drone because I like using the Mavic Air 2 more now than my Mavic Pro 2. So anyway, Mavic Pro 2, I take it, I get it up in the air, everything's going fine. And then all of a sudden I get the beep, 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 freak out warning on the remote. And I probably didn't handle this well because I've never seen this warning happen to me before. I think it said low voltage warning.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen low voltage.
Yeah, low voltage warning. It's not the same as low battery. I've seen that a million times. No problem. I get plenty of time to get it, land it safely, whatever. The low voltage warning, it did the same thing like with the turkey event where it just decided it was going to land. And I'm trying to do something to control it. And I don't know if I failed there, but I definitely couldn't control it all the way. Maybe I could have done a better job of left to right or something, but it was already kind of over a 2-lane. Anyway, very busy street right there. And so it just started flying right for the trees, which better than right into the cars on the busy road. So that's okay. But anyway, so right under those trees, however, is a rail trail, very busy rail trail with like people bicycling and walking, like a lot, not just like once a blue moon, they're going by all day. So I get up to where the rail trail is and I look up and that thing is, I think 40 or 50 feet above, right directly above the rail trail. So I'm like, I don't know, I'm going to get this down. I'm looking at the tree like I can climb trees pretty good. I can't climb some trees, but this thing is like a monster oak. There's no branches for 30 feet that you're going to get to or anything like that. I can leave it and just say, I guess I lost my drone, right? Because that's option one, because there's no way for me to get up there. But then my thought is, even if you leave that thing there, it's just dangling by a branch. It was hanging by like one prop on a branch. Oh, and I'm just thinking, if this thing falls down and, luck would have it, it's going to smack somebody on the way down while they're riding by in their bike.
Your rent's registered in your name.
Yep, big
so they're
liability.
Gonna be calling you.
Yeah, like I think if it was in the woods, it would have been like, I guess you go buy a new drone because you're never getting it back that high in a tree. You know what I mean? Or I don't know, you have to. But even if you climbed that tree, you would have had to go out on the sketchiest branch ever. You'd probably die trying to get your drone. So it was really like, leave it, and then I'm like, okay, well, we can't risk somebody getting hurt. So, I feel kind of terrible saying it out loud, but I'm like, I don't know who to call, but I'm going to ask the fire department. it's because it's a safety concern.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess I'll ask them. I'm just thinking somebody has a cherry picker or something that they can send, or I have no idea. So I call the fire department and they're like, oh yeah, we'll send some company out. And so I'm expecting, some company to come by. So I'm waiting out there for 5-10 minutes, and they pull up in a full-on fire truck.
Oh boy.
Full-on fire truck and another truck. So they came, they looked up, and they're like, yeah, we probably got to do something about that. So then the next thing is they got this monstrous truck, and they're trying to think, can they get it down this rail trail, which isn't designed for, driving this huge emergency fire truck thing, you know what I mean? Which is gigantic. And their concern is they're going to destroy the rail trail, which costs like $2 million, that section. And they're talking about all this stuff. And so...
And Neal's just sitting here going like,
go. I'm just like, wow, I am just the worst.
This is so embarrassing.
The worst ever. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to be back at my client because I'm doing social media sessions with them, and I've got 3 people waiting in line for me to get back and film them.
Oh, and of course, gosh, Neal.
Yeah, and that's super embarrassing. So at one point, the client calls me up. So are you gonna come back? I don't know what to do. I gotta stay here or whatever. She's like, what if we just send over one of our people and replace you? So that was great. I'm like, yeah, right, great idea. But of course, saying that out loud to the firemen, they were not impressed. Hey, is it okay if you guys just hang here with my drone and I'll just take off? Is that cool? Thanks.
Oh, I'm gonna send someone in my place.
But anyway, I tried to like smooth it out, just be like, listen, you're getting an upgrade. It's a very, very nice girl. She's, she's pretty.
You're getting an upgrade.
I literally told him, trust me, it's an upgrade. Don't worry about it.
That's awesome.
I love it. Super nice. She's like the nicest girl on the planet. So she came over and swapped, and I'm like, hey, your one task though, you got to get me some footage of them getting that drone if they get it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, got the regular truck down there. I didn't see it because I had to do my media sessions, but she did get some footage of it.
You got
and I do have footage of all this happening. And I have created a little thing, but I haven't posted it yet. Do I want to post this embarrassing story?
I want to advertise that I've
that my drone crashed. I mean, it's such great, ridiculous footage. So your battery, when you click the battery light, it showed 3 out of 4 bars. So I was like, I'm fine. I'm golden, right? But apparently it can still have discharged enough that the voltage is somehow wrong, because the drone batteries, I'm probably technically incorrect about all this, so just do your research. But the drone batteries for longevity are designed to discharge after a certain period of time, because I guess there's something bad that can happen from holding that charge so long that anyway, it helps prolong the life of the battery, I believe, is the biggest thing, or maybe it's a safety thing with the lithium, I don't know, but anyway,
that explains why they've been sitting in my bag for 2 days and then they were fully charged. I go to put it in. I'm like, no, I only have 3 bars. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. They
discharge these.
They hold the charge for a certain period and then they start to dump it. Yep. So that's why it's like, what? My regular camera batteries, I can leave them for a month and they're still full. But the drone batteries, there's something technology in those batteries doing that. And so it had been long enough for whatever the scenario was since they've been charged that I guess they weren't safe to fly. And I didn't realize that. So I think that there is some settings that you can check when you're in your remote and you're connected. You can go in there. I forget where they are on the Pro 2, but I did look at it after I charged my battery again, just to look, is there something wrong with the battery? And the voltage was fine. But that's something to note, that you might want to check. Your voltage looks good on your batteries.
I did learn about like calibrating your drone. Yep. Like so many times when you're in the city and stuff, you're trying to take off, there's like sewer pipes under you. Yeah, your compass is off. Or there's like a steel plate under the ground. So if there's any kind of, is it iron? If there's any kind of like metal,
magnetic interference can mess it up.
You have to calibrate your drone. So I used to pick my drone up and spin in a circle, like physically walk in a circle with my drone and then turn it sideways and walk in a circle to calibrate it.
That's the calibration dance. Yeah.
Then I got smart and I'm like, wait, I can just hold it and spin the drone in a circle.
And you don't have to do the whole dance.
I used to do it in front of clients. Like, and I feel so dumb. I'm like, okay. I just I'd have to explain myself and what I'm doing. It was
it's totally ridiculous doing the calibration dance. I totally spin in a circle too. I totally do. I do the whole like walk in a circle, then turn it, walk in a circle, keep going.
We got to do a reel of that.
That's one of the reasons I like the Air too. It never ask me to do the dance anymore, but the Pro 2 does ask for the dance.
Okay. Mine does it all the time.
It likes my
not
dancing.
all the time, but it's pretty
Yeah,
often.
it does it a lot on my Pro 2. And so yeah, the Air doesn't hardly ever do that. Every now and again I have to calibrate it, but I don't think it made me do the dance when I had to calibrate it last time. So yeah, I like not having to do the dance all the time. It is the most ridiculous feeling thing. You're always like in the middle of some field because you're trying to be away from the trees. So you're in plain sight of everybody, just like
I know.
Hello. Yeah.
Yep.
That's fun.
So I think we should create some new merch. That's like a T-shirt that says drone pilot. I mean, they have stuff like this, but it's a little
do the drone dance.
Yeah, no, something that says like drone pilot, do not disturb. Do not talk to me. I'm flying a drone. I cannot tell you how many people I've had come up to me. Like I'm mid-flight, like trying to do some crazy maneuver with like video work. I'm all focused. And they're like, oh, hey, are you flying a drone? I'm like, yep, sure am. I'm a real estate photographer, just getting pictures of this house. And like, oh, that's so cool. And they're like trying to look over your shoulder and like asking you a million questions that everybody asks. I'm like, okay, go. I'm trying to do a shoot. Can you please leave me alone? I need to focus.
I really don't want to crash this drone. So it is kind of a safety concern. Yeah.
Yes. No, I've hit a tree, a couple trees, branches. That's all from video work. It's like I turn the sensors off. Yeah. I can't stand it when it beeps at me.
You do, yeah.
I turn that off. I have it in sport mode so I can get where I need to go. Like, quickly.
Really? Look at you.
I know I'm a little wild child.
Sport mode gets a little crazy. I really love the tripod mode, but yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, this is taking too long to get to my next thing I want to film, so then I'll switch to sport mode. But sometimes I forget that I'm in sport mode and I go to like move it the way I would in tripod mode, and that's when it like goes wham, and you're like, oh, that tree's right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like when you're flying straight forward and you got to slam on the brakes and you like pull back and it like barely stops before it hits a branch.
Pull back and up and you're like, you're probably, I would like to see what I look like when I do that in the yard. Probably looks so ridiculous, like full body, like,
I've had 2 close calls in this year alone. So I did a commercial shoot for a video crew. They needed someone to do video at a car dealership. It was like a McLaren. They had Rolls Royce. They had like all these nice cars. And they wanted drone footage in the parking lot of a car driving into the showroom. And the guy's like, okay, so we're going to have you just come out here and then just fly the drone right into the showroom. And I'm like, right. Okay. Following your McLaren. Okay, great. Here we go. So they had a FedEx delivery guy who had just walked into the showroom and delivered a box, whatever. And the car is flying in. I'm inside the showroom flying the drone. I can kind of see it out the window. And I'm coming into it's like double doors that open, you know, and the car's driving in and I'm following behind the car. I come in from like probably 100 feet, fly in, and I'm about to come in the double doors. And the FedEx guy was walking out.
Oh my God.
And it was like, I mean, neck height. He dodged out of the way, like dipped back, like limbo style. And I was like, oh, but the worst part, there was like 2 other people in the showroom watching. They were probably not watching the FedEx guy.
Right.
But like, so I was like, did anybody see this FedEx guy almost walk like around the corner?
Oh my gosh. So scary.
I'm like like eyes on the drone, right? Trying to just get in the door of the showroom. Oh, it was scary. And I got the whole thing on video.
Oh my gosh. That is terrifying. Yeah. And that's such a complicated, forget about being, you know, somebody just walking through. That's just complicated enough. Even if the car wasn't driving, just flying through the doors, there's so much. Yeah. That's crazy.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. That's insane.
So another fun drone story. So I'm shooting down on Alki Beach, which is waterfront, like beautiful, gorgeous area in Seattle. And they have like this huge beachfront. So I'm shooting this little Airbnb that's probably like 2 or 3 blocks from the beach.
Yeah.
So I'm like doing the whole thing and I'm like, oh, I can fly out to the beach and get a couple beach shots. It's fine. So I fly out there. It's like 1,200 feet away, maybe 2,000 feet away, which is pushing it. For me, usually like 2,000 feet and it's losing image transmission. It just doesn't work past that.
Yeah.
So I get out there, I'm out over the water and I get the shot that I need. And then it says, you know, receiver, like you can't find the receiver, whatever.
That's terrifying.
Like, receiver lost or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, lost image transmission. That's what it said. And the screen's black and it says connecting. Like it's like nothing's happening. I'm like, oh gosh.
Totally terrifying.
Well, I know it's like 100 feet over the water and I think it's straight down the end of this block. So I had my like trunk open of my car. My driver's door was open. My bag was on the ground next to me. I packed up my car real quick as I could. And I start running down the street towards the beach. I'm like, come on, get connected. And finally it connected. And then I was able to like shoot it up and bring it home. But yeah, it was scary. I was like, oh, do not fall in the water, please. Don't fall on people. Because it's a busy, like, there's a boardwalk where you can rent bikes and there's shops and it's a sandy beach. There's volleyball. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah,
so
that is the most terrifying thing. And I had a very similar thing where I was doing a regular house, just in a regular neighborhood, right? And I was hiding kind of behind a tree so it couldn't see me. It was behind the house because there was a little pond behind the house. And I was trying to show it, but it wasn't much yard till the pond and then the trees. So I had to be kind of right above the trees looking down to see it. But anyway, so I'm hiding behind another tree so it can't see me. And I'm looking at the screen. Right then the homeowner comes back and they're like flagging me down like, hey, are you done yet? And I'm like, what do you think? I'm hiding in a tree right now. But as soon as I did that, I guess the battery was getting low and I was just trying to get the shot done, right? And I'm like, okay, I know I got time to get this shot done, right? But they distract me, tell me, I'm like, oh yeah, no, look, whatever, we're good. I turned to look back and I don't know where it went. The drone's gone. Yeah, I look back, the drone's gone and I can't hear it anymore. I was, I could hear it.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't hear it anymore. And I'm looking at my screen and I'm like, where's the drone? So I'm thinking it must have just crashed, like the battery died and it crashed in the trees over here or something.
Oh.
So I go looking in the woods and I'm like, oh my God. But it had returned to home, which was where I had started flying, right?
Okay.
And it started flying at this cul-de-sac. It was a very quiet cul-de-sac, but note to self, maybe for this reason, you don't want to start on the street. I just started on the street because it was an easy takeoff place instead of in the grass, right? Because the propellers and stuff. And I didn't take my little, I have a landing mat I could take off from, but I usually don't pull it out. I just set it on the street, took it off. So it was gone. It basically flew over there. I didn't know till I went and walked back over there, but it also wouldn't let me do anything. This is the Pro 2 again.
See, that's what it did to me on the rooftop deck.
It was hovering there. Yeah, hovering there, wouldn't let me land, wouldn't let me do anything. The homeowner now went around the cul-de-sac and they're driving right towards me. And I'm like, whoa, because they don't really, that drone is hard to actually see when it's just floating in the air like that. You're not even thinking about it, right?
Right.
And so I'm just like waving them down, like, stop, because they're about to just smash the drone in the middle because it's right at windshield height, just hanging out there. Oh my God. So luckily they stopped. And then the Pro 2, I've seen people do this, but I've never done it with the Pro 2. I think I actually tried to do it one time. Have you ever tried to do the hand landing?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I've never done it before.
Quite a few times.
The reason why I tried to do it one other time before and it must not have understood what was happening when I tried to, because last time I tried to do it, I grabbed it and it fought me.
Yeah, it does that. You have to just hold it and fight it back. You got to wrestle it. Yeah. Okay. You're like, you're mine. And then it just relaxes and gives up. But yeah.
It was going like, I
tries to resist.
I let go of that other time I had done it. So this time I did it better. And it actually must have sensed my hand before I got to it, because it didn't fight me this time. And it actually, I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I look like the biggest bozo. The car is trying to come around and I'm like doing my I don't know. Look, I'm trying, look at me. I'm moving the sticks and nothing's happening. Jeez. One of the reasons I record whenever I'm doing video is so I can just find my drone when it crashes.
Gosh. So
I've learned that. That's the only thing that saved me both those times. I probably wouldn't have found that drone before in the trees above it's so high up and it's gray and the branches are gray and it's always video, like you said. Because video, you're trying to do a move, you're trying to be cool, and then there's some little stick that sticks up. You didn't see, your depth perception was off, whatever. But
yeah, totally.
I don't know if you talked about this in a podcast or not already, but whatever. I think it relates to this episode. What happened with the power lines?
Oh yes. So I was shooting a house, and they have cable lines or telephone wires that come off the house up and connect to the pole. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what those cables are, but whatever they are. Yeah. So I was flying, getting kind of the front shots, whatever, and I'm in the front yard and I lower the drone down and I'm like, why won't the drone go down any further? It's stuck on something. And I look up, it's literally the body of the drone is hovering on top of the power line perfectly. So it's just stuck on the power line and won't go down. It's 2 or 3 inches to the left or right, and it would have just flipped the drone and, Killed it.
Did it luckily didn't like fully land and think it was on the ground and shut off?
No.
Does it shut off? Yeah, it does. But so you just took straight up again and it was fine?
Yeah, it was totally fine. I was like, I'm literally sitting on the power line with my drone. I was like, up.
That I have had a lot of close encounters with those lines because they're so hard to see.
Yes.
Especially the ones like you're saying that go to the house that you may be now over, you might have seen it earlier, but now you've moved to the front and you're trying to like do a pan around the front of the house and you forget that line's right and you can't really see it that well, or your depth perception is
the depth perception is horrible.
Totally wrong. And you think it's right and it's not. I've definitely had that happen. So now like whenever I go to, I try to do this because it helps me a lot. When I get to the house, I do a mental like stop before you fly this thing up. Look, okay, power lines there, power lines there, power lines there. And
giant tree there.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? For whatever reason, I think about the trees a lot, but the power lines, I feel like I've flown straight up doing some move and then trying to just do the up and away and totally forgot right above there is the power lines, ding dong. You know what I mean? So I just kind of like have to register for my brain, power line, power line, power line. Don't forget it when you're doing up, down.
Yeah. So I had a close call with a trolley bus in Seattle. If you don't know what a trolley bus is, it is like an electric bus that has two big metal rods that come off the top of it and attached to like telephone wires that charge it as it drives. So, and then
like in Back to the Future.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's what they look like, right? So I'm shooting this like condo or whatever. I think it's a condo. And there's like the condo, and then there's a bunch of trees, like a road, and then a bunch of trees. Yeah. And between the trees and the road is the trolley lines. And I'm hovering there going, okay, I got to get this shot real quick. I really hope a bus doesn't come because I saw the lines and I'm like, oh, I know what those are. Like that's one of those trolley bus things. I'm like, that's dangerous. So I'm like shooting, whatever. And I cross the street so I can see the drone better. And I turn around and here comes a trolley bus down the road. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like right in the way. Like it would have literally knocked the drone out of the way. So I ended up getting out of there. But yeah, super scary because there's a bunch of power lines. It wasn't just those two trolley lines. It was, the normal power lines too. So it was a lot to maneuver through. Like really, I had to think quick on my feet and just focus and get it out of there. Like, don't panic. You got this. Breathe. Like, oh my gosh.
It's you know what was probably the scariest? This wasn't like the safety scariest close call, but this is the definitely never getting your drone back close call. There's this really cool dam and river, and there's a city in the distance. And I decide I'm going to fly towards the city over the dam, right? Which looks super cool, flying right over the dam. I'm looking down at the dam and you see the water as I go over, and then I pan up and I'm flying forwards and you see the city and I'm going to go up, right? So cool. And it wasn't for a project. It was, I was just doing it for me. I thought it was a cool shot. I thought maybe stock footage or something like that. So it looked really sick. And so what I couldn't see was because I was quite a long, I wasn't really worried about the distance. I could see the drone the whole way. It was a straight shot. But what I couldn't see was these, what does a dam make? Power. The lines going across the whole river way out in front of me, all the way to the buildings in the city there. I couldn't see them, and I'm flying, and I just looking at the screen, I just get sheer terror when I see the lines in front of me, and I'm going fast to get across, pretty fast to get across, because the middle of that's kind of boring. I want to get to the city more, right? And I just see, I have enough, time to see it just to be terrified and hit the brakes and be like, ah! And literally the power line went like right above the camera, like,
oh gosh, wow.
You had that like sinking feeling in your stomach, like, because that was out over the water, hundreds of yards from me. That was bye-bye drone at that point, into the river. And it was like, rapids and stuff down there. Forget it.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not getting that thing back. No way, Jose. Yep. Going to Best Buy. That's what I do. When my drones crash, I go to Best Buy.
Yeah. That's like walk away like,
okay.
Nothing happened here. Nobody saw a drone go in the water, right? Just so you know, Rachel just put on her classic shades that are shaped like hearts.
They're my signature glasses. I went to the store to get another pair because these ones are a little bent.
I feel like those are like Care Bear glasses. When the sun hits them right, you can just shine back hearts at people.
People love them. I seriously get so many compliments on these glasses. I think because I kind of dress like business attire every day. So I wear like a, a cute necklace with like a blazer or whatever. Like I always try to dress it up. And then I have these heart sunglasses on that are totally playful and childish. And people look at it like, that is so, I love your glasses. I'm like, thank you.
No, yeah, you get a little spice of fun there. But literally, if you're not watching, we have the video on YouTube. Rachel's literally wearing exactly what she's talking about, which is a blazer with a necklace, and then she had her glasses on. So literally, just look at her, and
here I am.
And Neal's wearing a T-shirt for Massachusetts.
Yes, maybe next episode I'll wear a little hooded sweatshirt or something a little less.
You're all fancied up for the podcast today. Yeah.
That's what I wore to work today. I had 2 shoots today.
Yeah, so, I like that. Yeah, looking sharp. Sharp.
Thanks. I'm trying to be that boss lady, like.
Yeah, you pull it off.
VIP.
You pull it off. Yep. That's a boss photographer right there.
Whoop,
but she's also kind-hearted. Check out her glasses. Well, anyway, hopefully you made it through all of our horrific accidents and close calls with the drone. It's fun talking about them anyway. And hopefully there's learned a few things. I think we both can say that we would highly recommend hearing all these stories, that you probably want to get liability insurance as well as some kind of insurance for your drone. Your drone might fall under your if you have like regular business insurance for, if a light stand hits somebody, it might fall under that, but you'd be surprised it might not.
What company do you use, Neal?
So for my drone insurance, I use, and I'm already going to forget it, skywatch.ai. And it's dead easy to do it. And I just pay it monthly, and it's not super expensive. And I think I have like $1 million coverage or something like that. So if you smash into somebody's Lamborghini or something like that, you don't want to be on the line for that, right? Rachel doesn't want you hitting her Lamborghini once she
has do not hit my Lamborghini. We'll have an issue. You hit my Lamborghini.
And check it out. It should do the trick. And
then the DJI Care is a good program too. Right?
Yeah.
So if you crash your drone, they'll fix it for you or replace it or whatever.
I use that. I recommend it. DJI Care Refresh. And it's like a charge based on whatever your model is. It might be a little more expensive or less expensive depending on what your model is. And then if in the event it's just like a fee you pay, but in the event that you do crash it, then it's just a small fee you pay to get a new one, so long as you still have your drone. That only covers if you have your drone still. If it flew into the ocean,
if it gets lost, you can't claim it. You have to show proof of it.
But then maybe your regular insurance might cover that. I don't know. But but the biggest thing I would say is definitely get the liability stuff, because like you want to watch out for
especially if you're flying in the city around a lot of people and houses. Like you just never know when those things are going to bug out.
And get your license, gang. If you're going to do real estate, you need your Part 107.
Part 107.
Because you and the agent are on the line for a big fine. Like you said in the past, I've never seen anybody come out and check, but
you never know when they're going to crack down on it, right?
Be on the up and up for sure.
Yep.
Save you. Good mojo either way, right?
Totally.
Word.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Enjoy your day. Go be great.
Yeah. Get her done and watch out for the power lines. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.